Thank you for your patience. We'll be starting in a few minutes. Hello, welcome everyone. We're going to get started. Welcome to Mercy University's CERTIFi Spotlight Virtual Open House. I'm Brian Amcraft. I'm a vice president here at Mercy. Today's session focuses on a new program brought to you with our partners at FOLA Financial. Before we start, I want to share a little bit about our CERTIFi program here at Mercy. Our division of workforce credentialing and community impact was created to serve as a bridge between the world of academics and college degrees and the educational needs of the communities that we serve, creating opportunities for people of all ages and backgrounds to advance their knowledge and develop the skills and credentials that are critical for success in today's world. We offer a broad range of learning opportunities to improve your skills in fields as varied as healthcare, teaching, technology and cybersecurity, and leadership and management. Our programs run the gamut from workshops that can be completed in just a few hours to industry-based certification programs that include many months of training. And a rapidly changing labor market, true lifelong learning is no longer just for intellectual enrichment, but rather it is now an imperative for individual employability and professional competitiveness. So we invite you to please check out all of our credentialing opportunities by visiting certifi.mercy.edu. That's certifi with an i.mercy.edu. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us by email. Send them to certifi@mercy.edu. Here's a quick overview of the program we have set up for today. I'm going to introduce our featured speaker and her team. Then we'll have an opportunity. They'll give an overview of the FOLA financial tax prep program. And then we'll have an opportunity for a Q&A. If you have any questions, we encourage you to put them in the Q&A section of your screen. And then we'll have a discussion based on your questions, and then we'll wrap it up. And thank you all for joining us. So it's my pleasure now to introduce our partner and subject matter expert for today's program, Shania Wilson. Shania is the People's CPA. She has always had a passion to increase education and economic enrichment in underrepresented communities. And as you look at her bio here, I don't need to read the whole thing. Shania is really the poster child for true lifelong learning. She constantly continues her education, continues to get her expertise, not only in this field, but really understanding the needs of the communities that surround her. And I've had the personal opportunity to see Shania in action. So I'm not kidding when saying she is a top-right, engaging and exciting educator. Following her formal education, she launched into building her company, FOLA Financial, and that has grown, continually into 6 and 7 figures of business, educating and training the next generation of tax professionals through an IRS accredited tax training program. And we're so pleased to be partnering with Shania and her team on this brand new program. It's brand new for Mercy. She's been at this for some time. And I'm going to turn the virtual podium over to Shania, and she can introduce the other presenters for today. And then I will be back when we have time for Q&A. Thanks, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you so much, Brian. And thank you to the Certified by Mercy team for having us today. So, of course, you guys heard my bio read from Brian. Shania Wilson, aka the People's CPA, and I'm CEO FOLA, and also creator and curriculum developer for the TELP program. However, I have not done it alone. Throughout the years, TELP has had people who are just as passionate about teaching tax education as a practical skill. So later on, you'll get to meet my co-instructors, Professor Kevin and Professor Sheetal. Before we get into the program and meeting the professors, I do want to talk about why you guys are here. So I guess we can switch to the next slide. All right. So a money mindset, right? So I actually do want everyone who's here as an attendee to maybe write in the chat, like, well, what is your why? Like, why are you guys here? The reason why I like to start with mindset, because it really does shape everything that we are going to experience after we've set our mindset on something. So I do want you to think about, well, what is your why? What do you hope to achieve, from that why? How will achieving that make you feel? And then asking yourself also, what will it take for you to get there also? Because those key elements is what leads to us moving just from having it in our mind to us actually executing on something. So again, if you want to write in the chat, like, what are you guys interested in learning today? What are some things that you guys are thinking? How will it make you feel to achieve that? And what is going to allow you to help get there? And again, that question is posed to our attendees. Okay. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Okay, okay, so amazing. All right, so I would love to hear you guys' why. So again, please go ahead and drop a comment if you can, so that we could, know again, like what you guys are hearing, what you guys are looking to get out of the program. So your why powers your execution. So much can change when you execute. So here's a little bit more about my journey. In 2017, I was working at a Big Four accounting firm, but I had a lot going on. I started FOLA Financial, and I also started a PhD program. I got laid off from the Big Four accounting firm because I got accepted into a PhD program. Of course, like a lot of companies are hiring, so if they know that you're expecting to leave, they're going to lay you off. So, which is fine. I had a nice severance package. I traveled that whole summer, had a good time. In 2018, I bought my mama house. The reason being because I passed the CPA exam, so I got like a $5K bonus. I obviously have a good salary, saved a lot. My mom had me when she was 16 years young. So you guys can see in the picture, it looks very, very young. And she sacrificed so much to allow me to be the person I am today, because I didn't have to worry about you know, my mom struggled as a single mom, becoming a burden on me in my life. I was able to thrive in the areas that I was excellent at, which was education and working and connecting. So I always had a goal to help my mom out. So as soon as I got my first big checks from working in Big Four, go ahead and buy my house. In 2019, I grinded and I finished my PhD work. That was a great accomplishment because I was supposed to be, you know, moving over into writing a dissertation and getting that actual degree. In 2020, again, I was working on FOLA. Now FOLA is growing. So I had my first major tax season. So I was so excited, but then I was actually the PhD program because my business ended up in the New York Times, and they're like, well, you got to pick one. Either you're gonna, you know, you are going to, you know, be in this program, or you can go ahead and run your business, but you can't do both. So of course, the biggest bet that we can always take and the greatest bet is betting on ourselves. So even after that, I left and I grinded even harder. Was able to buy my mom a car that you guys see in our picture, and that was my first year passing 7 figures in revenue. And as of 2022, I retired my mama. She's at home living her best life every single day, taking care of me, making sure that I eat. I'm so grateful for her. And again, that's all that came from me having my why just so engraved in terms of like what I do. The best thing that for me that money can buy is financial freedom, right? So again, I don't see anyone's answers, but I did ask for you guys. Let us know, like, well, why are you guys here? Is your goal to take care of your family? Is your goal to gain financial freedom, prosperity? Is your goal to like have more flexibility in your career? What brings you guys here to this webinar today? I do want to know. So feel free to enter it into the chat if you can. It's fine. Perfect. All right. So tax preparation itself is a $15 billion industry. And honestly, I expect that this is going to increase due to the fact that there's actually a shortage of accounting professionals. The AICPA, which stands for the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, along with a lot of other accounting authorities, have been putting out calls on how do we solve this problem. Okay. So what does that mean for you? This means that this $15 billion industry is now going to be expecting a supply shortage, right? So this means that it's a great chance for you to come into this and get a piece of the pie. The good thing about tax prep as an industry as well is that, guess what? There's 2 things in life that are promised. There's always going to be death, and it's always going to be taxes, right? We're going to have to die. It's part of living, and paying taxes is also an inherent part of living as well. So it's a great industry to get into. Okay.
I just wanted to acknowledge that the chat is disabled. However, please feel free to put your comments in the question and answer section so we can see them in the question and answer section. So please drop your why in that section there.
Thank you, guys. All right. So then the question is, well, why do people pay for tax experts? Because I know a lot of people always ask like, okay, well, why would someone want to come get their taxes from me when they can use TurboTax, or they can do it themselves? A fun fact, I mean, I'm sure you guys can think, most people who file their taxes by themselves do them wrong. They do them wrong. They either forget to put certain credits, they forget to put certain deductions, they don't choose the right filing status, so many things that ends up having them pay a lot less, pay a lot more in taxes when they didn't have to. So people pay for experts for a reason. It's the reason why you won't just go to anybody if you have something wrong with your body, right? You're gonna go to a doctor who has expertise in that area. So same thing with your financial life. Tax experts become a doctor in that specific area, which is tax prep, which is again such an integral part of our being. So they pay for knowledge. They're paying, of course, for tax savings. They're also paying for compliance. A lot of taxpayers aren't aware of what type of things they need to be in compliance for. They're playing for strategy. They want to be ahead of the game when it comes down to knowing what they have to pay and how can I put a strategy in to reduce that. And of course, they're also paying for throughout the year support. So what do individuals look for from their tax experts? Again, this is why they pay us the big bucks. They want to know, How do I minimize my expenses, my adjustments, my deductions, and my tax credits? More importantly, individuals want a trusted person that they can understand the tax implications of life changes that are going to affect their taxes. So for example, if I got new income, I got a new job or additional job, I'm working 2 jobs now, how do I fill out this W-4 correctly? We get that all the time. And how I fill out my W-4 affect my taxes? Retirement as well. Okay, my job is offering this as a retirement package. Would this help me? How much tax beneficial is a 401k? Equity compensation. A lot of clients that work in startups, they are, how is going to be my tax implication? If I contribute to this employee stock plan, or if I cash out of my stock plan, what is that going to look like? Family expansion. I'm going to have a new dependent. I'm going to get married. I may adopt a child. Fun fact, there's credits for adopting children. You get a lot of special tax benefits when you are married. Actually just did an interview with NerdWallet a couple of days ago that just got published about the tax benefits of being married. New dependents. And then what if I'm moving? If I'm going to a new state, if I change states within that 1 year, I now may have a liability due to 2 separate states. Now my taxes got complex. I want to buy a new home. What does that mean? How can I capitalize off of deductions? I want to get a vacation home. What does that mean as well? And then even new ventures. A lot of people want to get invested with side hustles. So how does me stock investing or getting into real estate or getting into business, how does that affect my tax life? Who do people go for these answers? It is going to be tax accountants, right? So I just want to take a pause and read out what whys that we currently had. So someone added that their why is they always had an interest in doing taxes and accounting and would love to see what may become of this. As I said before, it's a great time to enter the industry. It is literally wide open field. They said that over 300,000 accountants are expected to retire between this year and next. And because enrollment is down in universities, there's not enough supply to fit this new demand. They say that accounting and finance will be the industry with the most demands over all other industries over the next couple of years as well. So it's a great time to get in. Someone said, my why is to gain financial freedom, knowledge, and create generational wealth. Like, yeah, Stephanie, that is why we're all here, right? Our goal is to be able to have flexibility in our wealth profiles, and having skills that are pretty recession-proof allows us to get there. Because no matter what, someone's going to need their taxes done, no matter where you go. So just continuing our presentation, well, what do business owners look for from their tax experts? They're looking for the tax experts to provide an overview of entity compliance. So at a basic level, now that I got a business, what type of taxes do I have to pay? Income tax, it can be sales tax, it can be excise tax, it can be franchise tax. Income tax is there twice because it is usually the heftiest part, right? Okay, it was a typo, but y'all need to know that. Coaching of the ordinary necessary rule. Business owners also want to know, well, how do I maximize my spending? Coach me on how I can be tax compliant with creating deductions for my business. How can I convert things like the things I pay for in my regular life? How can I convert these to being expenses? Advise me on how to pay themselves and pay others. So employee versus contract. Like, okay, how do I take withdrawals? Do I hire employees? Do I hire contractors? And what is my tax implications? Of course, when you hire yourself as an employee or hire employees, they're now going to be subject to the payroll taxes. How do I structure myself where I can minimize what I'm paying in payroll taxes, which gets into entity structuring. So you guys may have heard of the whole LLC to S Corp conversion, etc. They also want a tax plan. It's important because as business owners, you do get penalized. If you are owing the IRS more than $1,000 throughout the tax year, you will get a underpayment penalty. So most business owners want to get ahead of that. And of course, they also don't like, having a large bill of $10,000, $15,000 a year in, because it's a big outflux of cash flow. How can I tax plan throughout the year, reduce my taxes with year tax planning, getting advice, making quarterly estimated tax payments with the IRS and state, which is required to avoid penalties. And also, how can I get advice on special tax elections and deductions to help me minimize how much I'm paying? And of course, business owners also want to understand tax law changes and how it affects their business. So some of the latest tax laws that came out were the TCJA Act, the CARES Act, they're looking for someone to interpret these things to them. Of course, your average individual entrepreneur is not going to know, okay, there's a new tax code, we see it online, but what does that mean to me? How does it fit, you know, in my context? So of course, they're looking for their tax experts to be able to provide that to them. Okay. All right, so without further ado, I would love to introduce Professor Kevin. Professor Kevin has been working with me and TELP since it started in 2019. He is currently the president of the New York chapter of the National Association of Black Accountants, NABA. He has over 9 years of tax experience, 5 years of accounting and bookkeeping, and together we've been able to educate more than 200 students around the world, which includes locations such as here in the United States, India, Germany, Belize, and Africa. He's also the photographic accountant. He has a love for expressing creativity through lens, and it's been an honor working with Kevin throughout these years. So Kevin, feel free to let them know how you got started in accounting, and just pretty much like what our goal is to help them achieve here at TELP.
Thanks, Shanae, for that intro. So as Shanae said, my name is Kevin Weems. So I started my career in accounting actually at Jackson Hewitt. So I took my first college course in taxation, probably in my undergraduate degree at Kingsborough College, which actually helped give me the foundation to understand taxation. So when I joined the Jackson Hewitt class, the owner at the time actually took me out of the class because he seen that I had extensive knowledge of tax. It was just actually taking that knowledge and implementing it into the practical world. So through my training there, we actually took live problems and gave it to me to solve. So this actually took what I understood from practical and book knowledge and then took it and implemented it into real life. So one of those concepts, we actually took it and made sure we implement it into our training program, which is just not the educational piece, but making sure you have practical real life examples on how to actually prepare tax returns. I'm going to pause there. I know you said you wanted me to elaborate on one more thing. You're muted, Shay.
Yes. So what has been if you want to talk about what has been the highlights of us teaching this course throughout the couple of the years, and what's like some of our goals in regards to what we want our students to leave with?
Definitely. Some of the highlights is actually working with professionals from various industries over the last couple of years, and also not just teaching people from America, but also global. The American tax system is very, very large industry, with a lot of opportunities to get into it. Every year there is tax law updates, so it gives you the opportunity to keep learning a skill that is always in demand. Two things that are guaranteed is death and taxes, especially with the tax laws updating every year. So we make sure we give you the most up-to-date information through the IRS website, using them as a base to understand tax code and tax law. What we give you is really a strong foundation of education and practical skills to implement each year, and as well as IRS CPE credits to make sure you are qualified for the annual filing season, which is every year done by the IRS.
Thanks, Professor Kev. Okay, we can move into Professor Sheetal. So this will be actually Sheetal's first time being a TELP professor, because just a couple of cohorts ago, she was a TELP student. But you take TELP and you love it so much that you're like, oh yeah, this is where I want to be. So here's Sheetal's bio. She's a seasoned professional with a master's in accountancy. She's also a CPA. Sheetal lives in India, but I'll let her give you a little bit more about her journey here. Her academic and professional journey has armed her with comprehensive understanding of science and the art of translating complex concepts into effective learning materials. Sheetal actually does CPA exam coaching, which is a great skill, because as I said before, there's a shortage of accountants. So how do we get those professors that care enough about the profession, that have a love for academics, to teach individuals these skills in a practical way to get them engaged, and get certifications? She told the TELP alumni and dedicated advocate for lifelong learning and professional development. She's passionate about empowering individuals to achieve their career aspirations. So she told, please let the people know who you are, a little about your background as an accounting professional, and what made you want to join the TELP team as a professor. Well, not just a professor, she told actually has helped significantly with us reconstructing the program at a core. So what you guys are even going to experience is like TELP 4.0. Again, this will be cohort number 10. Again, we taught over 200 people, and she told has really came in with her expertise in educational and curriculum design to turn the course up a notch. Like, it's such a robust program. So thank you so much, Sheetal, for being involved. And yes, let people know who you are.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. So hello, everyone. So it's, I'm from the accounting, auditing, taxation background. I'm a certified public accountant and accountancy masters. I've had the privilege to work, working with various multinationals and mid-sized consulting firms. So, while working with the multinationals, that's what got me, to study for my CPA, take my CPA exams and pass them. So, across the various domains, after many years of experience, I started out on my own, because in the education field, as Shania pointed out, I also coach CPA students. So it's an area, it's a field of my passion. And what brought me to TELP was, trying to understand the tax code better, the American tax code better. While I could train, coach, I realized that, there is this slight, there's a little gap between, the theoretical aspect and the practical aspect of, the taxation, American taxation, US taxation. So that's how I joined TELP. And needless to say, I just fell in love with the whole curriculum, and it made me feel, now I've got it. That little bit that was missing, I've kind of got it now. So that's what brought me to TELP, and here I am.
Yes, it's been so. She told love TELP so much that she's like, this course is so amazing, but we can just make it so much more better. And literally, as I said before, you guys are going to be experiencing like TELP 4.0. And it's created not by people who are just, have a pure academic background. Of course, we're very well credentialed when it comes to academia, but what we both have, well, all three of us, is industry experience. And not only do we teach you about tax prep, but as a part of the TELP course, we also teach about tax auditing. So we have a Professor Tammy, who was also in here. I don't know if we can add her as a speaker. But yeah, so Tammy is, yay, she's here. Okay. Tammy is who teaches our tax audits, because of course we can't teach you about taxes. We won't be able to prepare you for what may come after doing someone's taxes, right? Because audits are common, but again, I'm gonna let Tammy take the floor, share her background on what she currently does, and talk about TELP. Hi, Tammy.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
I can barely hear you guys. I'm gonna start the video. Hey! Hi, Mercy College, and everybody here. I didn't get to hear what you said right before that, so I'm just gonna jump into who I am and what I do. Is that okay? Yeah?
Yes, you are good.
Okay. So, hi everybody. I am Tammy, and I'm a former IRS agent, current enrolled agent with the IRS, as well as a certified fraud examiner. As Shanae was saying, I teach audits, tax audits, and resolution services. I've been working with Shania and the TELP team for a while now, where I have my little, I come in and do a little audits and ethics class. Like I said, I was a former IRS agent as an auditor, a revenue agent, foot to pavement agent. So as Shania was also saying, it's not just books. I do have my master's in the science of accountancy. I do have my enrolled agent status as well as a certified fraud examiner status. So I was a CFE with Manhattan District Attorney's Office, as well as the Bronx District Attorney's Office, specializing in tax fraud. So I'm really happy to be here, to be a part of the team, and I cannot wait for you guys to see all that the tax audit and resolution part of the course entails. Oh,
Thank you, Tammy.
no problem.
The good thing about this being a piece of the course is once you perfect tax as a skill, Tammy actually offers her own tax audit classes. So this is a great way for you to figure out another skill to add to your tax practice. So with that being due, let's get into our next slide. Thank you, Tammy. So yes, tax education equals wealth creation. And we say that line for so many reasons. Understanding the tax code allows you to understand how, number one, the US economic system works. Most financial transactions that occur in this country will end up on some type of tax form. Your tax form is how you report your financial information at year end. It's pretty much a stamp of your financial profile. It can equal wealth creation because now having knowledge of all of the different avenues of how you can earn income, how you can qualify for tax credits. Most times these involve you being creative with your finances to put yourself in a position to where there's an economic benefit attached to it, but then also a tax benefit. Because let's face it, wealth was created from two different angles. It's not just about how much money you make, it's about how much money can you maintain, because what we can maintain and save, we can use that to invest in ourselves. We can use that to invest in assets. We can use that to invest in our future, which may be, you know, different forms of legacy creation. If you want to leave behind a trust fund, an endowment fund, or if you want to just set your kids up in the most financial way, you also do get tax benefits for that. We got 529 plans. We got education savings, credits, and stuff like that. So again, tax education really does equal wealth creation. How do we master the US economy? It's by mastering the tax system. This is why most wealthy people, they pay high tickets for accountants, because we end up being the key as to how they can grow their wealth quicker, and then multiply their earnings, but then also save a lot in taxes along the way. All right, so let's get into the income streams, right? This is everybody's favorite part. That's why y'all here as well, is how can we make money in taxes? So this is just, you know, the basics of what some income streams are. Number one, individual tax preparation. Most accountants are going to start at $200 if you're new. Some firms kind of go up on a per hour basis, but if you start off with flat fees, here are some of the most common. Individual tax prep, $200 plus, because of course, if they have dependents, if they have businesses, if they have retirement withholdings, if they have stock capital gains, or if they sold their home, that fee can really readily increase. Typically, on average, most accounting firms, they're making at least $400 per client. So even if I put $200, that's really a low end of what you can make if you have, again, a certain different type of clientele. Business tax returns can start at $500, but it can easily go up to $1,000, $2,000. So the most common business type is going to be an LLC. That's what's going to be filed in the form Schedule C. That's typically going to be around $500 that you can charge for that. Now, if you're doing a C corporation, a S corp, these returns start at $1,000 for one return. That may take you 4 hours to do. So now you're making around $200, $250 an hour from doing taxes. Tax advisement. If someone needs to ask you a tax question, guess what? You're charging for your knowledge and your expertise. We can start at $150 an hour for this fee. This is again starting when you're a CPA or you're an EA, our fees are much higher. For our clients to talk to us, our billable rate is almost around $400 an hour just to get our calendar to ask us questions. Why? Because these answers are going to help clients save thousands of dollars. So of course they're going to pay a $200 fee, you know, with no remorse, knowing that they're going to get the value. So again, taxes and knowing accountancy and tax as a skill allows you to add value to people. And this is why we can charge these prices. Tax planning. So once you master tax prep, another great skill is going to be tax planning. Because of course, if you have clients that are going to owe a lot, they're going to want to how can I not owe a lot, right? So tax planning can start anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 plus a year. Some accounts even charge based upon how much I save you. If you were going to owe $100,000, but I tax planned and you only owe $20,000, I'm going to charge you 20% of that $80K difference. That's how some professionals charge. We typically do flat fees because even though we save our clients a lot, our goals help them build wealth, right? So we're not gonna, try to overtake, but there's that. To each his own. Then of course, tax audits and compliance and resolution. As Tammy said, this is a whole separate service from tax prep. Even some tax professionals get it, misunderstood that you have to help your clients with audits and resolution, even if you did their tax returns. Actually, it's a separate service. Like tax audit and resolution is a whole separate service. And again, Tammy will talk to you guys a lot more about that within the course. Now, if your client does have issues, how do I comfortably get them to form a new engagement, which ends up being another stream for me. Or it can be a stream for people who have used other accountants that now have a tax audit or compliance or resolution issue. I can provide that as a service and get paid $250 plus an hour just for a consult. But I mean, Tammy, you let them know how much tax audits typically run if someone needs to go through a full audit.
They start at $3,500. And it starts at $3,500. If it's a correspondence audit, it goes up to $5,000. If it's an office audit, and can start at $7,500 if it's a field audit with a business.
Thank you. So again, imagine you just get 2 audit clients per month. That ends up being between $5,000 and $10,000, $8,000 to $10,000, just from you understanding tax as a skill. And we say that, which is why we include this in the courses, because before you can jump into these fancy services like tax planning or tax audit and resolution, you need to thoroughly understand tax law at its core basis, which is what the TELP 1040 Mastery course is created to help you guys do. You will come out this course confident to prepare returns with your eyes closed. Promise you that. Okay, so here's a 6-figure tax season formula, right? And this is actually what I used to make my first 6 figures. It was by having goals. I got there a little bit different, so these numbers weren't exact, as mentioned before. Most accountants are charging around $400 for individual returns based upon what type of clients that they serve. They got dependents. It's going to be a little bit higher. But even if we just do our basics, a $250 a return for individuals, $500 for small businesses. If you do 250 individual returns at $250, that ends up being $50,000. $500 for 100 business returns. That's again just basic LLCs. That's $50,000. And before you know it, you made your first 6-figure tax season. So then most people will ask, well, how feasible, how easy it is to get there. And really, it's all up to you. When I was by myself, like I started FOLA, I didn't have a team. I didn't have money to pay a team. I didn't have no tax accountants. It was just me, myself, and marketing. My first tax season, I was able to do 165 returns. And that was me also going to school for a PhD part-time, like to be honest with you. Because that ends up being, if we take 165 and let's divide it by the 3 months of tax season, that means I did around 55 returns per month. Let's divide that by 4 for each week. So I did 13 returns per week. Divide that by 7. So even if I'm averaging just 2 returns per day, or some days if you want to take your weekends off, you can just do 4 returns on Mondays and Tuesdays and then take your weekends off. But of course I was doing, way more than that, more than a little bit of time, but that is all that it takes you to get to earning your first 6 figures is again figuring out what formula is going to work with you and what your goal is, because you can technically prepare 50 to 100 returns per month as a tax preparer. If you do this full time, of course you'll be more on the 100 side because that's just 25 returns per week, 5 returns per day. So very, very, very feasible on how you can get there. Okay, next slide. So the question is, and feel free to drop in the chat, like what could you do with an extra 5 to 6 figures each tax season? What could you do with that? Here's some things that I did with my little 5 to 6 figures each tax season. One thing I did was was buy property. Like that's the first thing. Of course, did it also for tax benefits, right? I was able to actually buy property in cash. I bought a duplex for $16,000 off the land bank in cash. And also went half with one of my business partners. We bought 2 buildings in Ohio, 11 doors in total, bought that in cash too, right? Don't say that to brag, just to say that to show you guys again what's possible when you have a skill that you can earn from. Again, this is because, again, this is before I had a team. I got expenses now, so things are a lot different. But when it was just me, I had all these profit, and like, what do you do with that? We invested into assets that are going to give us an economic benefit, but also a tax benefit. So that's what we do. So what would you guys do with an extra 5 to 6 figures each tax season? That is the question. Okay. Next slide. All right, so let's move on to how does TELP help? And yes, we wrote that on purpose. It rhymes and it's cute. So TELP helps for so many different ways. Number one, there's over 20 hours of video lessons to help you master tax law. Over 16 modules, so pretty much each week. It's an 8-week program. Each week, you'll be doing 2 modules per week. Each module, you can say, will take you between 2 to 3 hours to complete, because there's going to be a lot. There's the reading material, there's online quizzes, there's practical assessments, there's tests every few modules. You do earn 20 plus continuing education hours that you do get credited from the IRS. So as a part of starting the program, we will request your P10 so that you can go ahead and get credit for taking the course. You do get tax preparation training with professional tax software. For the program, we use TaxSlayer, which is what we utilize to write and practice. So you will use that software to complete your mock return projects. Throughout the course of TELP, you'll have 4 returns to do. So you'll come out the program, actually have preparing 4 full-blown returns. Well, really it's 5 because your final exam is going to be a full-blown tax return as well. That's, of course, a lot more complex because it's a final exam. You also get access to the TELP expert community. So again, working with myself, with Tammy, with Sheetal, with Kevin, again, all credentialed EACA certified tax experts and professionals will be able to guide you through the course through our community platforms where you'll be able to ask questions and also network with other students. A lot of times we also typically do invite our past TELP students to our new community so that you guys can also interact with them, people who took our program and also are thriving in their careers as experts. With our new collaboration with Mercy University, you'll also get a FOLA Time Certified by Mercy University certificate. So you can show that you're accredited by a world-renowned financial institution and a world-renowned university. So you'll have that to brag on your LinkedIn. That's very important because especially when you're entering as a tax professional, people are going to be like, well, why should I trust you? You were just over here, you know, doing your HR job. Now you prepare taxes out of nowhere. Well, listen, you're credentialed, baby, by FOLA and Mercy University. So you have that stamp of approval on you. And the TELP course also allows you to pass the IRS annual federal filing season program, which you get a certificate separate from the IRS that shows that you are up to date with tax law and education. So you get 2 certificates, you get, you know, all these hours of video lessons, you get quizzes, practical assignments, mock returns to prepare, final exams and exams to take. So pretty much, again, it's created to give you that, the education, the skills, and the experience so that you can leave the program confident that you can literally start a tax return from start to finish and, you know, do it with confidence and give your clients the maximum value. Okay. All right, next slide. All right, so I do want to give you guys a little sneak peek of what the program looks like. So it is a fully online course. All your modules are packed into there. So it's pretty self-paced. However, we do it in cohorts because we still want to hold you guys accountable to completion. We're not in the business of selling courses that people don't finish. We want you to become a certified tax accountant. Why? Because you're also just helping the greater cause of there being a shortage of accounting professionals. But more importantly, we want to make sure that you get the value of what you pay for. There's also that. So when you're in the course, there's going to be a dashboard that has information about the course. To your left, you will see each module one by one. As mentioned, there's going to be a module introduction video, reading materials, which is going to be a PDF. I would say typically we keep the reading material short, so it shouldn't be no more than 5 to 10 pages per each module. So very light reading, but reading is important. Like I know people offer courses and you can just watch videos all day, but not with taxes. If you're not comfortable reading, how are you going to feel comfortable researching the tax code? and looking up the IRC code. You need to gain comfortability of doing research and reading. So that's what the material is provided for. You'll get a video lesson. Then you'll have a quiz at each module. You'll get an exercise to do, so something for you to actually do, whether it's using an IRS tool. So we even equip you with how to use the IRS to help support you while you're preparing taxes. And then you'll get bonus videos. So just throughout the course of my career, I've done a whole bunch of collaborations with organizations such as CNBC, T-Mobile. So all of those, that work that I've done with them are also injected into the tax course. So you'll get the experience from the actual course, but then you have bonus videos as well for myself and other experts that I had the pleasure of working with in my career in terms of educating the public on this very, very important matter. So that is a little bit of the program. Okay, next slide. So, okay, so here's the side of like, you know, what are our graduates saying? So this is Chinedum. Chinedum actually works in philanthropy. He's in Connecticut. He's from Nigeria. And he took TELP just, I don't remember which cohort at this point, a couple cohorts ago. So another thing that I forgot to add on that, what comes with the program is after you take TELP, you are able to apply to apprentice with FOLA Financial. So you don't just invest in a course and learn tax as a skill. You can actually practice it in practice with real clients and make your money right back during tax season if you are accepted for apprenticeship with FOLA. So working directly with, again, myself, my team during the tax season. So yeah, so what are our graduates saying? Let's see if this video can play. This is Chin. He loves TELP. See, he has on our logo hat. Okay. Is it going to play or no? Okay. So maybe it didn't convert when it converted as PowerPoint. That's perfectly fine. I mean, I guess also Sheetal, if you want to share your experience from taking TELP to then apprenticing and how that maybe was a bridge from connecting what we learned in the course to having actual practical experience. Did that make you more confident in regards to your career as a tax professional?
Absolutely. So, you know, the material that was provided to us in TELP and the kind of, the kind of assistance that, you know, TELP students were given was really exceptional. So there were so many times I had these questions, you know, very minor questions. And I remember just posting it on the, back then we would have the Google Classroom. We would actually post our questions there, and there would be these prompt responses from the professors. And you know, I think I would probably want to post as many questions as I wanted, and each and every question of mine, you know, got answered. I think that kind of gave me a better understanding. It helped me connect the dots better. And also when I have also been an apprentice, with FOLA. So at that point in time also, there were so many things, you know, that I could connect the dots, but there were these small, minute things that I would actually reach out to, you know, someone on the team and say, you know, hey, you know what, what form gets triggered, you know, when if I punch in this number here. And there was always this, the environment of learning. So I think, you know, that learning combined with seeing, you know, actually what's happening, you know, you're actually doing the work and you're learning, and you're earning as well. So yeah, it's absolutely wonderful combination.
Thank you, Sheetal. And look, now she's a whole professor and she's not going anywhere. she's full of fat forever, ever. So yeah, so we're very, again, engaged in community. The reason why our clients come to us, and also like why the amazing people that we're able to partner with at FOLA come to us, is because we literally just have a learning environment. Through everything that we do, education is at the forefront of everything. Our actual vision statement is empowerment through education, economic enrichment. That's what makes economic enrichment sustainable, is having the education to support that. So without further ado, we do want to open up for a Q&A session, which is our next slide.
Thank you so much, Tanea. There's already a few questions in the Q&A, and I'm going to, and thank you to the whole team, Kevin, Tammy, Sheetal. First question that I'd like you to answer is if any one of you is familiar, but I'm sure this is more direct to you, Shania. How is the course in comparison to Becker CPA courses? What's different about it?
So it's a similar teaching style where and that's pretty much why I got where we got to that, because both Chantal and I are both, CPA exam takers. But I love how Becker had the reading, the video, the exercise. So that structure definitely did influence how we constructed this course. Obviously, it's not gonna be spot on. Becker has been around for thousands of years. FOLA is a small business that is still growing. However, it's very similar in regards to how the learning is structured, to where you read, you watch, you listen, you practice. You read, you watch, listen, you practice. So that same flow is very, very similar.
Thanks. And you mentioned the apprenticeship opportunity. Is this available to everyone? How do you select people for the apprenticeship?
That's a great question. The first qualification is you got to pass the course. There's that, right? Of course. So you can't qualify for the apprentice unless you pass the TELP course. That is a prerequisite. Other things that we do look for is your availability. I've been doing taxes for a bunch of years, and of course I have a bunch of apprentices, and even though they want to do it so bad, they don't have the time to commit. So we do look for your time commitment, and we hold you accountable to that. So that's the next thing. Also, we just ask skills about just like how good are you with researching, because of course there's going to be times where you don't know something. We want you to be confident on researching the tax code. And on top of that, of course, the key to everything as well is how well do you work in a group setting. During tax season, our team can grow as big as 20 to 26 individuals. Think this last tax season, not this year. No, it was this year. Yeah. I think we had like 26 people altogether. It was kind of crazy. So you will be working in a team setting. What we did do to make it more personal and get more support was put everybody on in tribes. So of course, FOLA, we're a Nigerian name for the company. So we thought it was cute, play with cultural. So you'll be assigned to a tribe. So you'll have a tribe leader that'll be there to support you throughout it. So even though it's 26 staff, you'll just be in groups of 5 or 6, etc. So that's pretty much what we look for. Again, it's the knowledge and expertise. Did you pass the course? At the basis, we know at least what you know. We do again ask you about your research capabilities and how well are you reading, and of course, how well do you work in a team setting.
Okay. And this is not a question in the chat, but I'm hoping you'll just take a few minutes. What type of preparation does someone need? If they're coming, what type of educational background or professional background, or does it matter? How old do you need to be? Just general requirements for someone to enter the course.
That's such a great question. Someone literally asked me the other day, okay, is your course only for CPAs? Or is it only for people who don't know taxes at all? Interestingly, and I'm really grateful to say, we've had EAs take our course, CPAs take our course, people who with just high school education take our course, people with degrees that have nothing to do with the counseling at all take our course, and they all get the same outcome. So it does make us really happy, because it shows just again how robust the course is. So it doesn't matter of your level of expertise or background. I even think that this is a great course for college students to have while they're in college, right? This is a chance for you to learn as you're getting your counseling degree, but also earn to help support you throughout your actual degree completion. So again, it doesn't matter what your background is, industry, or your level of education. The course is created to be step-by-step, but so robust to where someone who is experienced can still find value, and then someone who is new to it will still come out confident.
Excellent. And the question that we love to get, can I join the next cohort if I'm not a student at Mercy University? I would say the answer is, of course, yes. How much is the TELP program?
Okay, that's a great question. So the program is $997, which is super low. Again, for all of that money that I told you guys that y'all can make with just this one skill. It is special pricing due to our partnership with Mercy University. And on top of that, you do have a payment plan option. So if you can't pay the full amount up front right now, you're able to split the payments in half. The next cohort starts the end of this month, so October 30th. Pretty much it's created so that by the time you're done with the program, you can apply for the apprenticeship program and make your money right back. Which again, usually if you make $5,200 per tax return, That's just in 10 returns, you'll make your investment back. But more importantly, let's think about how much you'll make after you also gain that confidence. You can either take it and start your own tax practice, or some people just work with OLA every single year. We have people who took TELP 2019 and they apprenticed with us 19, 20, 21, 22, because what also changes is how your experience changes. So some people start with just doing prep. Then if you gain confidence, you can do client review, where you're actually discussing with the client what's going on. And this also depends on like what level of tax returns you're comfortable with preparing. But then on top of that, it's okay, like now you can get experience in making sure that you're confident in advising clients, like being a tax advisor and doing some consults. So when you apprentice with OLA, you get to stretch your tax accounting skills in so many different areas to again allow you to feel confident as a practitioner.
Thanks, Tammy. One of the reasons we're so excited to be working with you and your team is, a thing we call mission alignment. The notion that it's such a strong investment. You talked about having the resources to invest in yourself. It's just the great example of investing in your own education and how that can, really transform your life, which is, what we at Mercy University are all about. I think we have time for a couple more questions. Let's see if there's anything in here. Is the apprenticeship available to out-of-state persons? And realistically, how time-intensive would it be working a full-time accounting position and taking the course at the same time?
Those are great questions. So, of course, the apprenticeship program is available for people not just out of state, but out of country. Again, she taught all the way in India. It's what, almost 2 a.m. your time? And she's here with us. Again, this is for the love of help. Girl, we appreciate you so much. So yes, it doesn't matter, again, where you are in the world. As long as you have access to good internet, you are good to go. Of course, learning state taxes is going to be something that's different in TELP. So it's 16 modules. One of our modules is state taxation. So you'll get an overview of how to understand the taxation that's different from each state. And on top of that, we do during tax season, we have 2 different shifts just to accommodate for time zone preferences. So we have an AM shift, which we're working from 9 to 5-ish. Then we have an afternoon shift where we're working from 6 to 11 p.m. So of course, Sheetal was more in the night shift because that's early for her. So I think you're waking up early to work. But then, Kevin and I, like, we're more so during the daytime, we're working with the clients, etc. So we do have those 2 time zone options within FOLA to accommodate for your time zone. And then the other part of the question was, how intensive will it be working a full-time account position, taking this course? So again, because the course is 8 weeks, it's really specific, but not time consuming. So I would say each module will just take you 2 hours, maybe 3 max to complete. And I don't think, only when you get into later modules, when we get into like investment taxes, business taxes, where it'll be closer to 3. But most of the modules, it'll take you 2 hours to complete. If you do 2 hours per week, so you can say that you need between 5 and 6 hours per week. So you have to ask yourself, like, do you have at least 5 to 6 hours per week to commit to learning a skill that can practically, hopefully change the trajectory of your financial future? If the answer is yes to that, then you should definitely join the program. I love when accountants take our program because they're like, oh, you can know accounting, but knowing tax is a whole nother skill. It's so translatable though, and having the accounting background does provide a great foundation in regards to like understanding taxes. So hope to see you in class. Any other last questions?
Because I think a lot of people conflate accounting and tax prep, and they're not always the same thing. They can go together very nicely, but they're 2 different skill sets. So our Q&A box is now cleared out, and we've come to the end of the session. Shanae, thank you so much for sharing your enthusiasm, your excitement for this program, and really giving a taste of all the opportunity that it entails. Everyone who signed up for the webinar will be receiving specific information about the next cohort and instructions in terms of enrollment. And thank you all for joining us. And please get in touch with us if you have any questions. Look forward to seeing you again. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.